The Loren Eiseley interview I thought was the first really. That's probably still one of my favorite interviews, talking about the prisoner. And, oh, not I'm sorry, that's the Loren Eiseley one. The prisoner
Loren
won a couple
Eiseley.
of Yeah, the prisoner won a couple of ones later. Was also a very fun interview to do. People who are passionate, and both the Eiseley people and the McGowan people are greatly passionate about their stuff. So they were very fun to interview.
Loren Eiseley is the best English prosist probably published in the 20th century. But this also changes the format a bit. It uses interstitial readings that Jessica read and places them alongside the segments. Talk about that format. I know that you've gotten a little bit of shit over using public domain stuff because YouTube, and if you've followed any news stories about YouTube, YouTube is notorious for not following proper public domain laws. And this is a good intro to Loren Eiseley. I still think that the essays that you wrote about him are more cogent to his work, and it is another one of these artistic interviews that speaks a little too much about his life and not enough about his art. I do think that they are full of passion, though, and it really comes off. And they're also very good memorizers of his passages, and they can reference certain things. I think artists will kind of just use his stuff as fodder, and then it kind of just intuitively coalesces in the brain. But since these fellows are experts on him, and perhaps only him, they're able to recall exact passages and make cogent points about him. And I'm not sure, but did you get into the exact reason for his neglect and whatnot? Because I don't recall if that aspect was raised.
I don't think so, but you can't expect much in terms of the writing stuff from these people. Tom Lynch, I think he's a scientist or a professor who teaches science. Bing Chen isn't even.
Yeah, Dan. Before you go on, Tom Lynch, I recall one moment where you're speaking about how you've discovered great Nebraska writers, and you use Wilton Keyes, James Emanuel, and Loren Eiseley as examples.
Yeah, and he mentioned.
He brings up this. I can't even remember what the name of it.
Ted Kooser.
Yes, Ted Kooser, right? The almighty Ted Kooser as a poet, as an example of another great Nebraskan writer.
Yeah, and I didn't say anything there because, but Bing Chen, I think, is a doctor, a medical doctor, so he's the head of the society, and in a sense, they're sort of fanboys of Eiseley, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. It's good to have that. As far as the public domain stuff, yeah, YouTube is notorious about that. I remember I wanted to interview this guy who has a site called it's one of these like Bigfoot sites, video sites or whatnot. He had something taken down. There's a few other sites that do movie reviews that had some stuff taken down. It's like the problem with YouTube is that they have this stuff up there. This German company, I said to YouTube that they immediately give you a strike or something, which is ridiculous because you have to be in our society. You're guilty until proven innocent. These people, I said, let them show me where they own the rights to this, because in America, where I'm from, this is public domain. If you want to block my usage of these clips in Germany because they own the right, that's fine. But I since discovered that I could have gone against these people, and it would have taken 30 or so days to win the battle or whatnot. But I didn't have the time or the energy. There's so much other stuff that I have to do. So that's why I just let the thing wipe out after 6 months or something. But it's terrible. Google is one of the richest companies in the world. They more than enough. They have music sensors that can hear a musical piece and detect that you're using a copyrighted piece of music, which I don't even talk about musical copyright. Happy Birthday was written over 100 years ago, and it just recently fell into public domain when filmmakers sued to use it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Copyright is so abused. It's utterly ridiculous. Life of the author plus 20, 25 years maybe, or the life of the spouse. Forget kids or grandkids benefiting from something. The public good outweighs that. But You have apparently there are companies like this German company that go around making these false claims simply to screw with people. It's basically trolling. So after the film Noir Show, I said I'm not going to use anything, even if it's obvious public domain stuff, because I don't have the time to waste. So it's just the interviews. Here in the Loren Eiseley show, I did get specific permission from the Loren Eiseley Society to use a little clip from a public broadcasting thing that one of the people in the society granted me the right to use it definitively. So
it would help to actually be able to access that. It just shows you what a mess public domain is in, because some of the film interviews and some of the film shows and some of the more visual mediums would benefit from examples that you could speak about, whereas the way that it is now, you wouldn't ever be able to go on that kind of tangent. So let's move on to the next.
Just so you know, you live in Canada. You have, I think it's life of the author plus 70 years in Canada. It's life of the author plus 90 in the U.S. So you get a 20-year thing. But it goes against
that may change, though, because of a deal that they're making uniting 12 nations in this damnable system.
Well, whatever. But I mean, it goes against what copyright is for. Copyright is to protect the interests of the author. When the author is dead, dead people don't have any interest. So I'm even saying that I'll be nice enough to give 20 to 25 years for the heirs to make profit over the life of the author, or for the spouse. But quite frankly, I don't even think that's really fair.